Hey everybody, this is Gabe. Just wanted to, before the show, kind of acknowledge somebody. This is going to be off the cuff and really not planned. This is just kind of what I'm thinking. We just lost somebody recently. His name was Marty Sklar, and I just kind of wanted to talk about that before the show today because we didn't talk about it in the last show. We lost him July 27th of 2017, so this year. This is a little bit hard because I met him not even a week before he passed for the first time. For the first time meeting him, he left a huge indelible mark on me with the words of wisdom that he had. We lost a great person, an incredible person, and a Bruin. He graduated from UCLA like I did. And we lost somebody in the Disney company that has left an indelible mark. Just things that he's worked on have been like the Enchanted Tiki Room and the Small World. Those were for like the World's Fair. He wrote personal materials for Walt Disney. He worked for the creative development of Epcot Center at Walt Disney World in Florida. He was the only person to be at every single Disney park opening and witness all of that, and a lot of people recognized him as being almost like a Jiminy Cricket for the organization because he learned and understood Disney as a company at Walt's knees himself, and to have lost somebody of this stature is hard. And I know a lot of people are having a hard time, and, fans of his, and I can't imagine what the family is going through. But, we send our condolences to Marty's family and let them know, and hopefully they know that the person that they lost has left such an incredible impression on so many people's lives, and that's what should be celebrated, not the loss of somebody. And thank you, Marty, for everything that you've done for Disney and for Disney fans and for people who love theme parks, and just for being an incredible person and giving such great advice, because I know that the advice you gave me when I spoke to you, it meant a lot to me. And I think about that every day now, the advice that you gave me for my work, for what I do, what I believe in, and what I'm passionate about. And I'll never give up on that. Thank you again, Marty, and we'll miss you.
Hey, this is Doug Barnes of the Season Pass Podcast, and you're listening to the Theme Park Duo Podcast. Have a thrilling listen.
Hi, and welcome to the Theme Park Duo Podcast. Grab your park map, churro, and hop in line with us as we take you on a coast-to-coast adventure through the world of theme parks, haunts, conventions, and more. Now, here's your hosts, Nikki and Gabriel.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Gabe and Nikki. We're here for another episode of the Theme Park Duo Podcast.
Bringing you awesome information and ridiculousness.
Yep.
I think that ridiculousness, like if that was like a tagline, it would be in all caps, underlined, italicized.
Yeah.
Because it really is ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rob Dyrdek. I know that's a show and they're trademarked, but ridiculousness. That's what it is, and welcome back. Like Nikki said, we are in episode 14.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a good one. We have our friend Doug Barnes on the show talking about political correctness in theme parks, and it got it got a little deep there for a bit, right?
Yeah, definitely. We went places.
We went places.
You definitely
we traveled,
know.
We ate the foods. We talked to the people.
You know our opinions on certain things, which
that's true.
Everyone has opinions. Your opinions might differ from ours, or
it doesn't make them wrong.
Yeah, no, it's just everyone has their own way of looking at the world, and the main part is that we all try to live in it together and just be friends, regardless of
differences,
who we voted for.
And differences in general. But I think what's most interesting about this topic is I want people to chime in. I want people to contact us, or I want people to be on social media sharing their thoughts, because a lot of what we're talking about is very polarizing. It's not an easy subject to talk about between people, because a lot of people disagree.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear people's opinions. Listeners, I know you're listening. Chime in. Tell us what you think. Let us know if you agree with us, if you disagree, and if you disagree, why.
Yeah.
On a lot of the topics that we're talking about, because it would be really interesting to hear your take on what we talked about. So before we do any of that, we have quite a bit of news to get to, and since our conversation with Doug was rather long, we'll have to get through this pretty quickly.
Yeah, we'll try to go quick.
So let's jump right into the Theme Park Bulletin. So we have quite a bit of coaster news, Nikki, just because there was a National Coaster Day not too long ago, and of course, everybody announced their new coasters on National Coaster Day.
I have a thing about days. It's like there's just a day for every day has a thing. It's like Donut Day, Chocolate Day, Best Friend Day, Coaster Day.
Do you know what today is?
No.
National Hairy Back Day.
That's not true. You
That's
just made
not
that
true.
up.
No, it's not. Just today is also National Pop Vinyl Figures Day.
That's also not true.
No, I'm pretty sure that one's real. But yeah, I know what you mean. There's a day for everything, so it's a little odd. But
just a little overwhelming.
Roller coasters is a much bigger thing as opposed to like donuts.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. Side rant early in the show, but if you like ate,
this is record breaking.
If you like ate every type of food that the national day was, it's like Monday's donut day, Tuesday's chocolate day, Wednesday is like cinnamon bun day. It's like you'd be like 500 pounds and have diabetes, and it's overwhelming.
That's truth.
Yeah. And also, I'm really mad because no one brought donuts into my work on National Donut Day.
People brought donuts into my work for the eclipse, and they were eclipse donuts.
That's awesome.
They were orange and then black. It was going over half of them. But then they also brought in galaxy donuts that were like this purplishy blue colors, and they were all swirling with stars on it and glitter, edible glitter. I hope it was edible glitter.
You said those were all gone by the time you got there.
Yeah, they were all gone. I just saw photos.
Oh, bummer.
I wonder if your poop would look like that, because then your poop would be super fancy.
Fancy poop.
But to take a step away from poop, let's talk about the coaster news, because there's a lot to get through.
They might make you poop.
They might make you poop if they're that intense. And some of these might, depending on how scared you are and what you ate before. But moving forward, the first piece of coaster news is a brand new coaster coming to Knott's Berry Farm right in our backyard, Nikki. And it's replacing what was there before, which was Boomerang, and also what's the extended like stores that were there. So it's actually, the footprint's actually going to be a lot bigger.
And where Riptide used to be,
and Riptide and Hammerhead and all those things. So it's extending from over there, like kind of where the fountain is, all the way up to where the new Boardwalk Barbecue is. So the flow of the park is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
So the ride is called Hangtime.
It fits in well with the Boardwalk theme.
Yes, and it's kind of like a surfery theme, which is cool. The headrests will have surfboards on them.
Awesome.
It's going to be 150 feet tall with a vertical lift, 96-degree first drop, so it's going to go past 90 degrees.
That first drop looks gnarly.
It looks a little nuts. 5 inversions. It's going to have a holding brake at the top for hold you for about 2 seconds at 60 degrees, and the ride will hang guests looking down over that first drop. It'll have negative G stall loop, only the second coaster in the Western Hemisphere to have this feature, offering unprecedented hang time, which is nice. And then a colorful nighttime track chase lighting that will accompany the coaster train as it travels the track. And I believe it's going to be the first dive coaster on the West Coast.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Now, I know that somebody said like in Nevada or Texas or something there's one, and I don't consider that the West Coast.
It's not on the coast.
I think West Coast, I think California.
I think, I might be wrong. I think the term West Coast refers to any state that actually has coastline.
Is that what that is? I don't know. Whenever I think West Coast, I don't think Nevada, Arizona. No. I think California, Oregon, Washington.
Because they would be Midwest.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No, would they be Midwest?
I don't know.
We're incorrect.
Coast means coastline. So ipso facto, the state has a coastline.
You used that correctly.
Gabe makes fun of me all the time because I use ipso facto wrong.
Very wrong. Very wrong.
Sometimes I use it wrong on purpose just to annoy him also.
Like, hey, we have eggs. Ipso facto, chickens. No, that doesn't make any sense, Nikki, because that doesn't make sense at all.
But it bothers you so much. It's so fun.
It's like grammatical errors like that sometimes do, even though I make them. Just like my mother, she tries to say cinnamon cinnamon, like the spice, like cinnamon sugar, cinnamon. But she can't say cinnamon. She says synonym.
She said it in Spanish the other day just so she wouldn't mispronounce it in English.
Because it bothered her so much.
It was really funny.
She just gets, my mother speaks really good Spanish, so she just says words that she can't pronounce in English very well in Spanish.
Yep.
So she can't say cinnamon. But anyway, moving forward from that, it'll be really interesting and really nice to have another coaster addition to Knott's Berry Farm. It's been a while because we knew that Boomerang was going to go, and then Riptide went before Boomerang, and we just saw it coming from a mile away, and we were just wondering what was going to take its spot.
I believe the last new coaster that they got was Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet? Was Silver Bullet before Accelerator?
I think it was after.
Okay, I believe you. I'll take your word for it. If we're wrong, let us know.
I think I'm right, though.
No, you might be right.
Be so proud of me if I'm right.
I will be very proud of you if you're right.
We can look it up later.
Yes. So what's the next one on our list, Nikki?
The next one is Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point.
Now, this one looks cool.
It does. It's the world's first hyper hybrid coaster. I wish I knew what that meant.
Hyper hybrid. So
it's like someone gave it a lot of sugar.
Yes.
And
usually, if I'm not mistaken, usually when they're talking about a hyper coaster, it's usually over 200 feet tall. But I could be incorrect.
Well, the ride was originally Mean Streak,
which was a fan favorite.
Okay, so you already jumped the gun. You already said it's the world's tallest hybrid coaster at 205 feet. World's fastest hybrid coaster at 74 miles per hour.
Pretty fast.
World's steepest drop on a hybrid coaster at 90 degrees. So the one at Knott's beats it by 6 degrees.
True.
But that's not a hybrid.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of coaster.
Yeah.
It's like comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah. They're both good. Let's see, where was I? It's the world's longest drop on a hybrid at 200 feet. That's big, right?
It's a pretty large coaster.
World's longest hybrid. It's like the world's best everything, according to this list.
Well, the thing is that because it's the world's first hybrid hyper coaster, or hyper hybrid,
so it's
whatever,
the world's first everything.
It'll be the world's first everything because it's the first of its kind.
Yeah, so it's 5,740 feet. It has most inversions on a hybrid. It has 4. It's the fastest airtime hill on a hybrid, 73 miles per hour. That
means
really
a massive ejector time, guarantee you.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. I like ejector time. Most airtime on a hybrid, 27.2 seconds. That's over the whole ride.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's like all of it added up.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot.
Yeah. That's awesome. And we already said it, but it's the world's first hyper hybrid roller coaster.
Yeah, so a lot of firsts for that one. So that'll be a really nice addition to Cedar Point.
Yeah, I want to go back to Cedar Point. The last time I was there, I don't feel like it was before I really cared. So I'm like, oh, cool, it's another park. It's kind of like Six Flags, but a little better. But now I'm like, whoa, they have all these cool things. I didn't appreciate it at the time.
Yeah. By the way, I take it back. I'm not sure if it's RMC, so not 100% on that.
That's okay.
Moving forward, we have RailBlazer at California's Great America. So this is just a little up north from us. This is an RMC Raptor style coaster. So that's that one I-beam track style coaster that appears to be a mirror image of the one that's going into Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, which is that Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth or whatever it was called. You know, the one that I said is going to be wait time the ride.
Yes.
That one.
Yeah.
However, this is where the similarities end because RailBlazer will have trains themed as if you were riding an ATV. And a stunning landscape full of tunnels, fake rocks, ditches, water, and a lot of wild off-road journey that includes a 100-foot tall vertical drop and 3 inversions along the way.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think
like
it's
a
fun.
really themed coaster.
It's also a very, very intense version of like a Pony Express because if they're ATV themed, are you sitting down on something?
Well, ATV would be like
like a 4-wheel.
Yeah,
I know what they are.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be Pony Express.
Well, in the sense of you're sitting on something, you're straddling something.
Well, no, you're thinking like a motorcycle type thing.
An ATV you straddle. An ATV has 4 wheels with handlebars, and you straddle it and you sit down on it.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of like the bigger ones where like 2 people can sit in it. It's basically
no.
like one giant roll
I know
cage.
what you're talking about. Like it looks like a gigantic, like insane metal version of like a golf cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not that.
Okay.
An ATV you straddle.
Oh,
so
okay.
is it going to be like that where you straddle, or is it just going to be themed to those and you're going to be sitting down like a normal coaster?
I don't know. It'd be fun if it was like what you said, like where you straddle it.
I just don't know how safe that would be because the restraints aren't like super intense.
Yeah.
You know, the restraint comes up on the back, kind of like Pony Express or like Tron, Light Cycle Power Run, things like that. I don't know if that would work alone, especially with inversions.
Yeah, and drops.
Well, the drops I think would be fine. It's really the inversions I'm concerned about.
Well, I guess we'll see. And then we can make our way up there and go ride it.
Yeah. Next one?
Next one is Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City.
Silver Dollar City.
Silver Dollar
Time
City.
Traveler. $12.
Time Traveler is the world's fastest, steepest, and tallest spinning roller coaster. So it's like Sierra Sidewinder at Knott's Berry Farm. So that's cool. Gabe actually showed me a video of this, and it looks pretty darn cool. It features 3 inversions, a dive loop, a 0G roll, and a vertical loop, 2 LSM magnetic launches, magnetically controlled spinning cars. So does that mean it's not random?
I don't think it's free
like
spinning.
Sierra Sidewinder, it's like
free spinning.
If you and me are on one side and there's 2 like 5-year-olds on the other side, oh man, that's so off balance. We're just spinning like crazy. Yeah. So it might be more controlled, which is good.
So you don't spin like insane like we do.
Yeah. You'll start things off with a crazy 10-story 90-degree vertical drop right out of the station. Oh yeah, this was the part that looked really cool in the video. It's like you have no time to brace yourself. It's just like you're out of the station and boom, you drop.
Which I asked you when we watched. I paused it, looked at you, and I said, "What happens if like one of the operators falls off? Like they just like accidentally take one step wrong to the right, and they're just
There's probably a lot of barriers, so they won't be able to.
Well,
do that.
I hope so because having a drop right there is rather insane. Also, they better make sure that all their safety measures are in check before sending that train out.
Well, I hope they do that with any coaster anywhere.
Truth.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for Time Traveler.
Yeah, and then we have Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion. This is a transformation of Hurler, which is a new hybrid coaster creation from RMC. So this is an RMC.
Nice.
They'll be building a story around this coaster as well, claiming that the structure was part of the once thriving Hanover Hill Orchard Farm. An unknown tragedy struck the orchard in 1950, destroying half of that year's harvest. Shook the ground, flipped over tractors, broke windows, and more. Ever since, the old warehouse building has been off limits until now.
Is this the one that they were teasing like a long time ago?
No, that was
a different
Mystic
one?
Timbers.
Oh.
So it's kind of like in the same family, and it sounds like almost kind of like a connecting story in a bit.
Yeah.
It's probably like the same area, just because it's such similar names.
Yeah.
Twisted Timbers features 109-foot tall barrel roll first drop, 3,351 feet of track,
That's
a total
really
of 3
long.
inversions, 20 airtime hills on a top speed of 54 miles per hour. Perhaps one of the most amazing things is the layout of Twisted Timbers is essentially exactly the same as the former Hurler coaster, just seriously amplified beyond all belief.
Cool.
So that ends the coaster news. There was and there was even more coasters that we're not adding onto this list. We don't want to have like a 10-hour episode.
Those are just the highlights.
It doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
So, but we have a ton more news to cover, and it's my favorite type of news, Nikki. Let's jump right into Haunting Headlines.
So this is seriously your favorite time of year.
Favorite top number one all the time forever. And I start talking about this the day like November 1st.
And it's like it's legit. I mean, Mickey's Halloween Not So Scary Halloween Party is already started.
Yeah, in Orlando at Magic Kingdom.
So I mean, it's like it's fine. We can talk about it now. It's like no more like, oh, it's too early to talk about.
And there's Halloween decorations already going up in stores.
Yeah.
So shush, everybody. We're talking about Halloween. Okay, deal with it.
So what's the first piece of news we have?
Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface are the titans of terror at Universal Studios Hollywood's terrifying new slasher film maze debuting at this year's Halloween Horror Nights. Taking terror to an unspeakable level of blood-curdling screams, the Titans of Terror Tram, hosted by Chucky, will transport guests into a nightmare of carnage, pitting guests against these 4 modern horror icons. this time led by infamous serial killer doll Chucky from Child's Play. With his faithful army of degenerate chainsaw-wielding good guy dolls, Chucky will unleash havoc upon guests as they navigate a portion of the world's famous backlot. Further, Terror Tram encounters will include Jason Voorhees at the Crystal Lake Motel, where he slaughters newly arrived camp counselors, an ominous confrontation with Freddy Krueger, who takes his ultimate revenge on the town of Springwood. Springwood? Yeah, Springwood. And a final foray through the barn from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where Leatherface and the Sawyer family butcher victims for their cannibal cuisine. Unique to Universal Studios Hollywood, the Terror Tram enables Halloween Horror Nights guests to walk along an area of the famed movie and television studio where such sets as the Psycho House and the Bates Motel from Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller, Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, are located. So this is two different things. This is a maze that includes the Titans of Terror, which is Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, as well as on top of a maze, which are in two different locations, they'll have the Terror Tram, which includes those three characters plus Chucky.
It's a maze too?
Yes.
Do you know where the maze is going to be?
Not 100% sure. My guess is it's probably going to be on the upper lot. Near the entrance, so like in the Waterworld queue.
Oh, okay.
That's my guess.
I thought it was just the Terror Tram. But I
no,
guess
it's two different things.
My question is, are those going to be insanely tall, chainsaw-wielding good guy dolls?
They might be. They might be. They might be like life-size versions. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to hire a whole bunch of little people.
Then they shouldn't.
Is that the correct term? Is that PC?
I'm not sure.
I don't know what the PC term... I'm so scared of saying the wrong thing.
Well, our whole episode is about PC.
That's true.
And who knows if we said the right thing in there. Like, air
We
quotes,
probably
right thing.
didn't.
So, who cares?
Yeah.
There are no rules.
So, that's fine.
But I'm kind of excited for this. I'm kind of, like, I don't know. All of those are my favorite part of the horror genre. You know, like... just that whole encompassing, you know, Chucky,
You don't
Freddy.
like slashers.
I don't
that
like
much.
slasher films. So it's like, oh, it's cool. I like the fact that like iconic characters like that are going to be on the Terror Tram, but it's not my favorite.
For me, I like slasher films,
Yeah.
but there's a certain type of slasher film I like because I feel like Freddy has a lot of character. I feel like Jason has a lot of character. I don't feel like Leatherface has a ton of character.
No.
I've never really been a huge fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'm not
even
a fan
though,
at all.
Even though that remake with Jessica Biel was actually really good. I really enjoyed that. It's still not my favorite character and favorite movie. And I love Chucky. Chucky has a ton of character. So having those all play together in the same area, and it'll make up for Leatherface, in my opinion, not having a ton of character, will be fun.
Yeah.
I think it'll be cool.
I think that's the Terror Tram this year will be fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then another movie franchise that I don't think you're a huge fan of.
I like the first one.
The first one because it's a cop movie essentially, like a mystery, you know, you're trying to figure things out. The rest is just torture porn almost.
Yeah.
The second one not so much, but
they get progressively worse.
Yeah, they get progressively worse. Is the Saw franchise. All new maze to feature a first look at Lionsgate's upcoming 8th Saw film, Jigsaw, debuting at the nation's premier Halloween event in Hollywood and Orlando. The Saw series is one of the highest grossing horror film franchises of all time, making its return to Halloween Horror Nights, bringing the blockbuster's most terrifying traps to life in an all-new original maze opening at Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Orlando Resort, beginning September 5th, 2017, based on September 15th, 2017, based on the Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures hit horror film franchise Saw, The Games of Jigsaw. So this is going to, I'm assuming, kind of take you through a lot of the famous traps, and like it says, give you kind of a peek into one of the new ones too.
Because it's mainly it's mainly for the new movie.
No, I mean it's. What I'm thinking, what happened, because it's kind of a convoluted situation.
Yeah.
The movie was originally called Saw Legacy.
Uh-huh.
And I think they had already started working on everything. And then we got the announcement really, really late because they changed the name from Saw Legacy to just Jigsaw.
Uh-huh.
So that means that the maze has to change everything, which probably means why we got like a weird name, which is Saw, The Games of Jigsaw.
Yeah.
It's kind of an odd name.
Oh, so it'll be a greatest hits of all the movies.
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's going to be kind of like a lot of the famous traps.
Uh-huh.
And we get to see a sneak peek at one of the new traps that's included in the new film that's coming out.
Okay, well, this will be another one. Like you said, I stopped watching, I think, after the third movie. So it'll be a lot of stuff that just will look cool, I guess, but I won't really feel connected to it all.
Yeah, exactly. And then keep going. We're going to talk about Halloween Horror Nights again, but Universal Orlando reveals new details on the terrifying scare zones.
This I'm excited about.
Yes. This year, these horrifying street experiences will live within a collection of the most unearthly macabre terrors called the Festival of the Deadliest.
Ooh.
From the depths where nightmares are born, this horrifying scare zone is an ancient tradition filled with the hellish wonders that are hard to resist and impossible to escape. This ghastly collection of madmen and monsters from beyond the veil have joined together to reveal in firelight and create the together to revel. Can't talk today. To revel in firelight and create the ultimate afterlife of fright. Now I'm questioning my speaking.
Why don't I say the next big paragraph?
Okay, and this is just the beginning.
Once guests enter this hallowed celebration of blood and bone, their nightmares will never end as they'll attempt to survive 2 unique scare zones based on 2 celebrated horror films. The iconic classic... Whoa.
Those were classic were not even in that paragraph.
I'm not doing much better.
You're not much better than me.
The iconic Halloween film Trick or Treat and the popular film franchise... The Purge. Oh, so we lost The Purge from here, but now it's going over there.
But The Purge has been part of that, I believe,
fantastic.
A few years in a row now.
Can you tell my sarcasm? We're finally going to Halloween Horror Nights Orlando.
It makes up for it. We have Trick or Treat. It makes up for it completely. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Of The Purge.
Yeah, The Purge needs to be purged. I think we've said that before.
Yes, it has been purged from Hollywood.
Yeah, it's been purged from Hollywood, but not quite Orlando yet.
But yes, we are very excited about Trick or Treat Scare Zone. It may not have its own maze yet, but it's got a scare zone.
It should eventually.
Yeah. So, where did I leave out?
You left off at The Purge.
The Purge. Reaped from the twisted minds of Universal Orlando's entertainment team. Joining these horrific street experiences are 9 disturbingly real haunted houses and 2 outrageous live shows, creating the ultimate Halloween event that no soul can survive. So...
we have Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat and The Purge, those are the scare zones. We have Invasion. Guests will become the grotesque human experiments of fearless alien scientists who continue to plan the preeminent destruction of the planet Earth. Is that a maze?
No, that's a scare zone.
Okay. And then one more scare zone is Altars of Horror. Guests will come face to face with some of the most horrifying characters found in this year's assemblage of haunted mazes, based on iconic horror films and terrifying hit TV shows.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Wait, yeah, I'm so confused by the way.
Yeah, I'm confused by the setup of their release there.
Yeah.
So either it's a scare zone. Well, like the way it sounds like it's a scare zone because I know that they haven't released any of their original houses yet because they have original houses in Orlando, which is kind of nice.
Maybe it's like a scare zone in front of some of the houses.
Yeah, maybe it's connected or something. You never know.
And then they have 2 shows. So they have the Academy of Villains. It returns for a second year.
Academy of Villains Afterlife.
Yep, I was just about to say the title. Thank you, Kate.
You didn't say it fast enough.
And then Bill and Ted's.
Which is its last year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy because for us it's already been gone for like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
But
it's cool that we'll be able to see the last one over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then moving forward from that, we have, like we said, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party already started.
Yep.
So that's going on right now as well. And then news that came out this morning that we found out about was that Ghost Train here in Griffith Park is coming back after 1 year absence.
Which I'm super excited about. We went 2 years ago and it was so much fun.
It's a blast. So essentially the Ghost Train is not what you think it is. People who don't live in Southern California or in LA who are not really in tune with the haunt world, it's not a legit train. It isn't gigantic. Imagine that and about minus 85% of the train.
Yeah.
It's model trains.
Yeah, it's like it's a rideable model train, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you
it's like
straddle
a bench.
it. You straddle it.
Yeah.
And somebody drives it around the area, and there's just Halloween decorations and music playing and different things kind of set up to watch. It's not scary. It's just fun.
It's more family friendly, but we had a lot of fun.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
I had more fun at that than I did at LA Haunted Hayride that year.
Yes, we did.
We didn't have that great of a time, but also I'd attribute that mostly to the fact that I found out that I was allergic to hay.
Yeah, and you were wearing shorts.
I was all scratchy, I was sneezy,
so
and my
bad.
throat was itchy. It was just a horrible, horrible time. It was like I rubbed my face in a cat.
He's also allergic to cats.
That's not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's also coming back, which is nice. And then coming to one of our favorites, if not our favorite, Knott's Scary Farm. Last but not least, the granddaddy of all haunts. A little bit of news came out for them, but they are going to be having their preview event, which we'll be going to for press. So we'll be getting some interviews for all you guys to listen to the creators of these incredible experiences. So we'll be getting more, and that's going to be this upcoming Wednesday when they have that, or Thursday, one of the two. But they have some news of returning mazes from last year's event and years prior. So we know that Paranormal Inc. is going to be returning. So that's going to be
a favorite.
That is the favorite. The John Cook maze that came swinging out of the gates that everyone fell in love with. So that's going to be returning. Shadowlands, which is in the same realm, another John Cook maze that debuted last year that everyone loved, including us.
Yeah, it was super cool. So I'm excited to have that back.
Yeah, a lot of detail to look at. So, I mean, every time you go in, you notice something new, which is quite fun.
Yeah.
And then detail plus scary equals amazing maze.
Yes. Very well put.
Thank you. I am a master with words.
Yes.
Then we have Tooth Fairy, which is returning. Which
We were surprised.
Yeah.
And kind of,
Well, it's not as much as it was. Well, our reaction to it was
Yeah.
But the maze itself is really good. I'm just shocked that it's coming back because it's been around for quite a while. It's getting long in the tooth.
I see what you did there.
Oh, I didn't even realize I did that. Yes. I'm witty without even knowing it.
You
oh my
are.
God. Long in the tooth, get it?
That was a fake laugh.
Yeah. Duh.
But yeah, it's been 4 years? 3 years?
Yeah, I think it's been about 4 years now, if not longer, with Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, it's had its time. I am very surprised to see it back.
Very, very surprised.
Especially last year, there was never a line for it. Literally never.
There was always a short line for it.
Maybe 10 people in front of us in line one time. Like, that's it. So I don't know why just such a low popularity maze is coming back.
I don't think it's like we were there on days that were not super crowded.
We were there like 10 days though, babe.
Yeah, no, but the days that we were there that was insanely crowded, it did have pretty good lines, and we actually didn't even wait in it because
it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't. Well, we didn't want to wait like an hour for something that we had been through
several years.
After year.
Yeah.
But I think it is still popular. I think it's still effective. I think we are just a little jaded because we go so many days in a row every single year.
Okay.
And I think they're just allocating their money in different spots. For other things that needed a bit more.
Okay, yeah. So I guess, okay, I'll give it that. We go so many times. If a person goes once a year, doesn't get the pass, yes, they might be excited to see it for a fourth or fifth time. But we've seen it too many times. I think just for us personally, being Scary Farm pass holders. So, okay, that makes more sense.
We're just a bit jaded.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
That's okay.
And then the other day, they just announced that they're going to bring back the Red Barn, which both you and I were very curious to know if they were going to bring that back, because it was not originally, it seemed like it wasn't originally slated for last year's event, and then they had to add it late in the game. And I don't think it was really running on all cylinders all the time.
I think they've had a year. I think it will be way more polished than last year. So I'm actually excited to see what they could do in a year that they, when they had the time to do what they wanted to do.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I didn't enjoy the maze as much as I thought I was going to enjoy the maze, but for what they came up with and what they were able to execute in such a short period of time was really impressive.
Yeah, I think so.
The music was great. I thought the music for me was probably the best part about it.
Yeah.
It was like this thumping music that just kept going. It, like this pace, it gave you like this huge fast-paced feel to the maze, which was nice.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time when you go through mazes, it kind of has like this ebb and flow of themes, and not themes, but like feelings, and it kind of slows down, speeds up with music and stuff. This was fever pitch from the beginning. Like, as soon as you walk in, it is heartbeat starts getting higher because of the pace of this music, and everybody was really high energy, which was kind of cool. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what, like you said, what they have to give this year after having had time to polish it.
Yeah.
So after that, we have the Hollow Scare Zone, which is in Camp Snoopy.
I really liked that scare zone. I liked it.
There was a woman in that freaking scare zone that made like the most unearthly sound, and she would like come up behind you and make it in your ear, and thinking about it now makes all of my back hair stand up. Like, thinking about it, it's
National
terrifying.
Back Hair Day.
It is National Back Hair Day. No, it was the most unearthly sound, and thinking about it now freaks me out. Like, I don't like the sound that she was making, and she was following me.
I like the scarecrows that would like come out of the bushes.
Also, they kind of had like these big like back looking things, and they would hide in the trees. You couldn't tell what they were part of, and then people would all walk by and they would just jump out at them.
Yeah,
that happened to us plenty of times. Oh my god, remember we were okay, sorry, tangent. We were walking into Camp Snoopy from Sierra Sidewinder, so past the restaurant and the bridges and stuff. And we were walking towards the big Ferris wheel at the very end, and we were just walking, and there's lamps everywhere that are pretty tall. Like, there's lights that kind of are themed and stuff to Camp Snoopy. And I forgot who we were with. I think we were with our friend Eric. We're just walking, and there was a guy on stilts in there, and we did not see him. He was just leaned up against the pole, and we were walking. He just took one step out, and we did not see that coming, and we bolted. like I've never like had the instinct to run ever at a haunt. I've only like lost power in my knees once in my life, and he just stepped out, and I just took like 5 really quick steps forward to get away.
We got scared a lot in that scare zone last year. I really
It
enjoyed it.
was so foggy.
Yeah,
so foggy.
That played a big part.
It did.
For sure.
It helped a lot because you couldn't tell who was who.
Yeah.
Unless you ran into like one of the bigger guys with like those back things on.
Yeah.
So, and then
the people who were dressed as like soldiers didn't try to hide at all.
Yeah, they didn't really try to hide. Yeah. They were walking around.
Yeah.
They usually were kind of like the bait, if you will. So they'd stand out in the open. Someone would focus on them, and then they get hit from the right or left by another monster, which is incredibly awesome.
Yeah. We
don't have any news yet on the return of Carnival. We know that Ghost Town Streets is coming back. That's always a 100. I feel like there would be riot in the streets if they said we're getting rid of Ghost Town Streets.
Yeah.
So, Carnival, interestingly enough, we haven't heard any news about.
We also haven't heard anything about Skeleton Keys, about Infected. There's a lot.
There's a lot of things left on the table.
So, Thursday.
Fiesta de los Muertos still hasn't been announced, but it probably will come back.
They're saving a lot of announcements for Thursday, I'm sure. So
Fiesta is like their party area, so I wouldn't be surprised if they bring that back. But what I think they should do, and which I'm hoping they'll do, and the reason why they haven't announced it, is Carnival. I want Carnival to change. I think Carnival, I think it should still say Carnival. I think that's what it should be. But instead of just clowns, it should be circus themed.
Yeah.
So instead of just clowns, they'll have
a ringmaster.
A ringmaster, freak show. Well, they do have a ringmaster, but he's a clown.
Yeah.
Freak show oddities, like half human, half alligator, half human, half lion.
Yeah.
Like a 2-headed person, things like that. I think that would be really fun and kind of give it a different atmosphere.
They could have actual monkeys instead of clown monkeys.
Exactly. Like weird monster monkeys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that would be really fun. I mean, they started to kind of go that way because remember there was like that teddy bear monster thing.
Yeah.
That they had that one
were
time.
all still kind
there was
of clowns.
A fish one.
Yeah.
They were all clowns though.
Clownfish.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I remember we're like, he's a fish. That's weird. And we paused for like 15 seconds and we're like, oh, clownfish. I get it. So we're excited for Haunt. We're always excited for Haunt, and just Halloween season as a whole is coming up, and we're pumped. Like we're ready to go. You know, the Halloween season has begun with Midsummer Scream, which is the best Halloween event that you can get before the Halloween season. And then on August 31st, we hear everything for Scary Farm, and then we're off and running.
Yep.
It's gonna start. It's insane. And we get to go to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, which is going to be amazing.
We're so excited.
Super pumped. Later in the show, we say that we're not going to go anymore, but we actually are still going. So at the time we recorded with Doug, we had canceled everything, just things didn't work out. And then in between then and now, we have actually rebooked it, but we're only going to be there for like a couple days instead.
Yeah, like a weekend more than a big
week.
trip that we had planned before.
Yeah, so we're still going to be out there, and we're going to see Halloween Horror Nights and stuff and spend a couple days and relax in the pools and stuff. I don't know why I said it that way.
It's so weird.
Pools?
I don't want to go in that pool.
You don't want to go in the pools?
No.
But it's a poos.
Oh my gosh. It's not, you're saying poos now. You're not even saying pool.
Poos?
Oh my gosh. I don't want to go there.
I'll go in the poos.
Okay. I'll go in the pool. I'll go in the lazy river.
Okay.
But honestly, I'm really excited to be going to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando for the very first time, get to see everything new, getting to see the very last Bill and Ted's. Like you said before, we lost it here, and now it's like we get one more chance to see it.
So this is actually kind of a perfect spot for us to kind of go into our main topic today. You know, Bill and Ted's is something that was a staple of Halloween Horror Nights, and it's gone now because of this whole PC culture thing that's going on. People complaining because it really doesn't fall in line with what they think should be said. And we actually have a wonderful friend of the show on today, Nikki, to join this conversation.
Cool.
What do you say at that point?
I don't know what you wanted me to say. Welcome, Doug Barnes, to the show.
From the Season Pass podcast.
Yay.
Hey guys, that's
Leave it
the
leave it
best
to Nikki.
Introduction I've ever had. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Leave it to Nikki to do a really awkward intro.
No, I love it. That's the way it
Gabe
should be.
sets me up a lot for like me saying something and I have nothing to say.
It happens a lot, but it's fine. So,
I do it to myself
much.
actually all the time, so that's okay. I set myself up to say something and then I don't say anything. That's why I edit after the shows. So
That makes sense. But thank you so much for joining us. It's really an honor to have you on the show because, particularly for me, you know, I started podcasting and a main reason of it is because of the Season Pass podcast.
Wow. Well, that's
okay. Owen Wilson over here. Wow.
Well, well, I wasn't expecting that, but that's I'm honored. Thank you.
No, yeah. I remember the time that it actually hit me. I'm pretty sure I've told you this, but I was sitting in work and I was like, I miss Haunt. I wonder if there's any show that I could listen to that has any not Scary Farm stuff on it. And I stumbled across your show.
Yeah.
And my eyes kind of got real wide. It was like I was like just like realizing the wonders of life for the first time. so that from then on out, like I was like, oh my God, I want to do something like this. So thank you so much for putting on such a wonderful show.
Oh, but my pleasure. Thank you so much for listening and supporting and continuing on with the community because, I mean, you guys are killing it with the Theme Park Duo here, and it's an honor for me to be on your show, so thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We try our hardest. I don't know about Nikki, but I try my hardest.
Yes, this is me trying my hardest. I'm sorry, audience.
You try your hardest with the setups, right, Nikki? That's it.
Yeah.
She tries. Tries.
There you go.
But like we were talking about already, our main topic really today is this PC culture that seems to be kind of seeping its way into the theme park world. Yes, there's a lot of things in theme parks that are, you know, usually very family friendly. That's what people think about when they think of theme parks, you know, family oriented, you know, really pretty much clean cut and proper really for everybody. But there are some exceptions to this. And, you know, one of the big things right now is Pirates of the Caribbean, which is on the tips of everybody's tongues at the moment because there's this whole movement of changing the auction scene. Now, Doug, I don't know where you technically stand on this whole situation.
Oh, I'd rather it not be changed at all. I mean, personally, me, I am one of the guys who if the ride could be originally what it was when Mark Davis first made it, that's what I wanted to be. But I also understand that, you know, things have to change because audiences change over time. And so I'm not completely closed on it because I understand the differences in the world as you know the years go on. But me personally, it to be just what it was beforehand. I mean, I'm so old school. I don't even want Captain Jack Sparrow in there. I want it to be like what it was back in 1983, 82 when I was writing it as a little kid, scared to death of the waterfalls. But once I got out of there, I saw pirates. I want it to be that pirates. But even with all the changes, I still love the ride. The integrity of the ride actually is still there. It just has to be changed because of, our points of views in this world.
Yeah, and it really all kind of ties back into kind of what's happening in our world all at this point in time, and I think that's why these points of view start to change and why people start to want to voice their opinions in these situations, because like you said, you went on it as a kid and you were scared of the drops and then you saw pirates and that was pretty much it. And I truly believe that that's the case for every kid. No kid is looking at this saying, those women aren't being treated right, so I'm going to copy that behavior.
Well, it's not even about copy. I don't think any child goes in there saying, I want to copy that behavior. I want to shoot people through the window. I want to drown people in wells. I want to burn down villages. I don't know. I mean, well, obviously there might be a few out there, and unfortunately, those guys have always had different visions.
That's true. Very true.
I think that this is, you're telling the story of pirates. And what did pirates do back in the day? They raped and pillaged and they burnt towns down. That's what they did,
It was told in a way that was rather satirical as well, which kind of made it okay in a way. There were some things in that original version that even now I'm like, oh, it's a little weird to be talking like that, but I understand why they did it. I mean, like, in particular, I'm speaking about in the scene where all, like, the pirates are drinking, and they're on the steps and on the stoop. There's this one pirate right on the edge, and he was holding a woman's, I think it was, like, undergarments or something, and there was a naked woman in the barrel. And he was basically saying something to the effect of, like, I found this woman, and I'll share her if you're nice, and all this stuff, which is a little odd, but everything in that attraction wasn't done with malice. It was done in a very satirical way, which I think anything and everything is open to be made fun of and should be satired in any way, because it should be. That's just the way life is.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because it is giving us a history lesson on pirates in a way. We are learning about pirates and what they did and how horrible they were. But sometimes you can't just have pirates do what they do and have it be entertaining. Disney understood that satirical humor had to be put in. Humor has to be put in for people to receive it and appreciate it. If there was no humor in that ride, it would not be a fun ride. It would be absolutely...
It would be a little bit of a downer.
Yes, it would be. It would be. And you walk out going like, what the hell did I just take my kid through? So, there is humor. And I think that Disney, for everything, Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, they put humor in all that stuff, because you have to have humor to be able to reach the person and actually tell the story that you want to tell without it being, scary or horrifying. And that this is just another example of it. But I also understand that as time moves on, voices get louder, and I'm not saying that's the wrong voices. I'm saying that there's people out there who are offended by it. Unfortunately, maybe something that was told that was supposed to be satirical back in the 60s, 70s isn't nowadays. The world does change over time, and sometimes we need to take a look and see what our audience is thinking. And maybe there's a larger percentage of people who really disagree with the way that this is being delivered than the people who love it and appreciate it for what it's always been since their childhood. And that's where I think Disney's in a really hard spot with this ride, because, it's a screwed up ride. It really is. Pirates are screwed up. This is a really messed up story. So how can you clean it up and make, or have most of your audience be absolutely thrilled and happy with it? And I think that that's the route that they're going right now.
Yeah, I think that's definitely why they went that route of changing the things, because the people who are upset about it, they're the true fans, but they are going to get over it. They're still going to ride the ride, and it'll appease the people who would be offended by it. So I think it's the smartest move on their part.
Yeah.
And like you said, like you said, ultimately, like, these people are going to ride the ride still. They're not going to boycott the ride to the point where they're not going to ride it. If you're a true fan, you're going to follow it through and watch it progress and kind of what it turns into. Like a lot of theme park attractions, they always change. And one thing that really stands out to me, and one thing I wanted to put out there and just touch upon what you said real quick before I move on, not to cut myself off, is that like everything that we're saying here is just opinions. We're not saying that anybody's wrong for thinking that it should be changed or that we should be a little bit more sensitive.
No, I'm kidding.
You're so wrong. But yeah, no, we're just sharing our opinions. No, by no means am I saying, or Nikki is saying that you're wrong for thinking what you do. It's just purely our position on the matter.
I do have one more thing to say, though, also about it, that I know that a lot of the purists who really hate this move, they keep saying stuff like, Mark Davis is rolling in his grave right now, and how dare they change his view or whatever. You know what? Mark Davis is a student of Walt Disney, and Walt Disney has always said change needs to happen. Things will continue to change and expand, and things will get better over time. And I think that Mark Davis, being a student of Walt Disney, also would understand that now. So maybe he wouldn't be happy or thrilled with the change in it, but the fact that his art is still living, even after all this, is still there, I think he would find an appreciation for that as well.
And that's exactly what Marty Sklar said at D23.
Both of you beat me to the punch.
Yeah. I mean, we were in the Pirates of the Caribbean 50th anniversary panel, and
nice.
And they
alluded to the change.
They alluded to the redhead, and the whole audience booed. And Marty
really booed.
And
it was really awkward.
Marty Sklar just put them in his place. Like, shame on you. And he basically said what you just said. Like, well, it was all about change, and going with the times, and Disneyland will never be complete while there's imagination and all that. So he basically put everyone in their place, and no one said a word after that.
Yeah,
Marty's
pretty much.
Awesome. He was so.
Yeah, he was amazing, and we at the top of the show we have a little bit of a tribute to him, because when we were there, I had the fortune of meeting him at D23.
Oh, nice.
A week before he passed.
Less than a week,
and man, did it hit me hard. Just because I was able to kind of talk with him in that brief moment, and sorry, getting a little choked up. In that brief moment, and he really passed along a lot of knowledge in that moment. Yeah. Because he's had done so many things already, and for him to put people in their place and say, guys, realize what you're doing here. You're fighting against something that you love, and you already know that the person that you're idolizing right now, Walt Disney, has already said that change is going to happen, and it's necessary. Yeah. Realize what you're booing. Yeah. And him actually really putting people in their place, and it was great.
He was always good. That's why he was the ambassador of Imagineering, is because he was able to put the message out there sternly but honestly, and people understood it. And they received it. Just to tell you, I was also choked up a little bit, not just because, we've had Marty on the show a few times, had a chance to sit down and have some long conversations with Marty, but we were actually in the middle of setting up our next interview with him for season pass. And
oh, man.
Yeah, and so just like when you see that, like where you're working on it and all of a sudden it just stops there and you realize that he is not around anymore for that. Yeah, that hits you hard, and so, yeah, I'm right there with you, Gabriel. I mean, it was a really hard evening for me when I found out.
Yeah, I remember sitting on the couch telling Nikki about it and just kind of breaking down in that moment and kind of needing a second to collect myself. But, as much as you and I and so many thousands, if not millions of people who are mourning the loss of somebody so incredible, we need to sit here and celebrate the many accomplishments and incredible things that he's done in his life that we're going to be able to pass on to our kids.
He made all of our lives better.
He did make all of our lives better. And if anything, if you're no longer having him on the show, as much as doing a show about his legacy, showing his importance to the theme park community and just everybody as a whole.
Yeah.
So, but, moving forward, a little off track there.
I will take you off track many more times, I promise you.
And that is fine because I've done it to you, and it's fair. But yeah, so that change in pirates, and I don't think anybody's going to boycott the ride. I really don't. People will accept it because they're going to realize when their kids go on it, they're going to have the same wide-eyed experience as they did when they first went on it.
Yeah, coming from the perspective of a woman, I guess, like I don't care that they're auctioning women. Like, it's part of the ride. It's fine.
Well, it's because I got you in an auction, though, so, I mean, that's why.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. But, yeah, I blocked that out. But, no, honestly, like, I'm sad to see it go. I will miss it. But just the thought of someday, like, some girl, like, seeing the new animatronic, you know, this strong woman, you know, and, like, kind of, like, being awed by that, you know, just how like some little boys like see Captain Jack in the ride, you know, or something like that. And
not that he's somebody you should live by, but
you know what I mean. You know,
neither this new pirate too, because I mean, what is she doing? She's getting people to loot for her so she could turn around and make money off of them, right?
Good point.
That's her character,
Good point.
Right? So
yeah,
but no, it is. She's a strong character, though. You're absolutely right, Nikki. They're making her into a strong character, so it's the exact opposite of what she was before. You know. She was a wench being sold off. Now she's selling off riches to these guys who wanted to buy her just not too long ago. So.
Yeah, so I can't hate it, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, and when it comes down to, like, the changing of attractions, for me, the main question is, when do we draw the line? Where's the line in the sand that we're not going to cross when it comes to changing attractions at these theme parks? Because, you know, right next door we have Haunted Mansion, where the very first scene, some guy kills himself to get out of a room. And are we going to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't have that because it's celebrating suicide? Or are they going to do that? And then right next to that, we have a whole ride based on a movie that's banned in the United States for being insensitive about slavery and things of that nature, you know? I don't know where that line is starting to be drawn with regards to being politically correct in these attractions.
Well, are you saying the one that's insensitive to slavery is Splash Mountain? Is that what?
Yeah, it's Splash Mountain, based off of Song of the South.
Okay, but that ride itself is nothing to do with the movie itself. Actually, it has nothing to do with slavery. So, I mean,
it's true,
and that's why I think that's one of the reasons why they will never release that movie, is because they don't want to associate that movie with that ride for the chance for people to be like, hey, wait a minute. This movie glorifies slavery, and this ride is based off of that. Wait a minute, this ride needs to be torn down. I think that's one of the main reasons why they don't ever want that movie to be out.
Yeah, it's almost like an urban myth at this point because not many people have seen it.
Yeah,
not a lot of people know what it is.
Yeah,
you know, you say, hey, have you ever heard of Song of the South? They're like, what? I'm like, Splash Mountain. They're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're right. They will associate it very quickly, and that won't be good. I mean, when it comes down to it, like, I found a really interesting quote from touringplans.com, so shout out to them for having this wonderful quote. And it kind of it like really alludes to why Disney kind of it kind of talks about like why Disney doesn't really want to change things or why we don't see them changing things. So it says, Peter Pan remains on store shelves despite the portrayals of Native Americans. Dumbo is still celebrated despite the crows. The Jungle Book is still sold despite criticisms of King Louis. Heck, even The Fox and the Hound have been criticized with the rationale that because it is tried so desperately to avoid insensitivity, that it was actually insensitive and accurate. More recently, The Avengers drew criticism for its inaccurate stereotypes. This list literally could go on and on. The point of these examples is that no matter what a prominent entertainment company does or releases, there's going to be some group that takes offenses. So, you know, I think, you know, Disney is usually that company that always says, we don't care what you think, we're going to do what we do. Disney has always been that company, and they've always made their decisions, and now to see them kind of bend is a little weird.
Yeah, bend, but I mean, I agree with touring plans there. I mean, everybody's going to be offended at something. I mean, there's always going to be somebody out there offended, no matter what. People are offended at Thomas the Tank Engine, all right?
How are you offended by that?
I don't know, but they are. But the fact is that, you know, somebody's going to be offended by something no matter what. You can't please everybody. So it's about Disney taking, okay, well, what is the percentage of our audience? What are we going to get who's going to find appreciation, who's going to stick with us through these changes and everything. And what they're finding out is that they have a lot of audience that even though they'll disagree with these moves, they'll still appreciate them and still go back to them no matter what. And then the people who aren't happy and reject them making these moves, now they come in and saying, okay, now I appreciate them for what they are, and they get even more audience from it. But there's always going to be a group of people out there who, no matter what, they're not going to be pleased. And, it's not Disney's job to please those people because they're just not going to be happy with anything,
And that's in any situation, in every form of life.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's always going to be someone who's offended by something in some way, shape, or form, which really sucks because it's like, come on, people, just suck it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Have a little fun.
It is interesting, though, and we had a little talk about this before, the podcast started and everything, about how, what's happening right now politically in our country is a little bit of like what's been going on here with these theme parks. Now you could say it's totally different or whatever, but I mean, just take a look back at, the fact that a lot of our, the statues that people are having issues with because it kind of glorifies,
the shady part of our history.
Yeah, the great white man, and that black people are below us and all this crazy stuff and horrible things in our history that should never, ever be regarded as greatness in our country. These statues are up everywhere, and people are saying that these statues need to be coming down because they glorify a piece of our history that is shameful, which I absolutely agree with. It is shameful history. I do not think that, any kind of general of the South that was fighting to keep slavery and keep the white man above should be glorified in any way, shape, or form. However, those are kind of the same battles that we're looking at right now about, the look at, well, we need to take down these animatronics that are glorifying rape and glorifying selling off wenches and those kind of things. So I'm just saying, it happens all around. Sometimes you need to step back and look at it with a different lens and see, there are a lot of people that are offended. Maybe you might actually be that offended person if you look at it in a different way,
Yeah, I actually didn't even realize it till you brought it up, but it's true. They're two very similar things that people are having very different reactions to, and it's odd to think about, really. Like, they're all for the one, taking down the statues, and then they're so against the other, and it's like, the message they're sending, it's not that different, It's
because it really grounds it in reality,
yeah.
At least our situation, because, like I had said off air, being in the theme park world is kind of like in its own bubble, and that bubble's kind of popped when you're kind of putting it next to a situation that's very, very similar in the real world, and is very scary. But if I were to say one thing that's can be attributed to both of these situations is that, yes, we should probably change things, but we should 100% never forget it, because it's a part of the history, and having history is important as to not repeat and to do things, and that kind of more plays in tune with the real world stuff. Like, those statues should probably go in museums so that people can learn, this is who this person is, this is what they did, and this is why it was taken down, and this is why it's here now. And the same situation with any particular attraction that may be changed now or in the future for political reasons, is here's this piece, it was part of our history, we're not going to hide it, and this is the reason why we took it out. Never hide your history. And sometimes I'm really sad when Disney completely wipes the record clean of some of its history, because it's like, no, don't do that, because it's what got you to where you are now and why people like you. So don't do that.
We all need to learn about the Confederacy. We have to, okay? The Confederates were, for sure, the most serious blood. The Civil War was the most bloody war ever in American history, right? So, I mean, we can look back and say, the Confederacy was for real, without a joke, with no jokes, and we need to learn about them. Maybe not as a statue right in the middle of a city, as a monument, but definitely in museums. But I feel the same way, that we need to learn about pirates, because they did exist and they did do these horrible things, and it would be good to learn about them. And if it takes entertainment to learn about pirates, well, then, be entertained while you're doing it, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think this is that rabbit hole that you can keep on going down, and it could sound good or bad by the end of it. But, it's that's the thing. This is the world that we live in today, though, right? I mean,
Right.
Yeah. A lot of people just need to feel like they need to be able to say their piece and have some type of impact on their world. And in this case, just theme parks happen to be the target.
Yeah.
Changing gears a little, like I know we have on our list here, in both parks actually. Well, it's mostly we're talking about Knott's Berry Farm with the Native American aspect, but then also, there's that whole part in the Rivers of America.
And Disneyland used to have a Native
Yeah.
American village where they had dancers as well.
Yeah, like, do you think that kind of, it's portrayed in a different light, but is it kind of like a romanticized way, like an unrealistic way that makes it okay to still have it as like a prominent part of like Knott's Berry Farm, or
Yeah.
Are you asking me or are you asking Doug?
both?
I'm to be 100% clear on everything. I went to school for American Indian Studies, so this is a big thing of what we talked about in our classes, just to be completely transparent with everybody, because it'll be kind of clear when I share my opinions on some of it a little bit. I think that with regards to Knott's Berry Farm, I think they do a really, really good job of trying to portray real-life, factual, authentic versions of what Native Americans were. Right down there, I have written that they have a Navajo hoop dancer who I've seen, and it's brought tears to my eyes in the way he talks about his culture and how he explains the reasons why he does certain things, and that's really great. And they have, crafts made by Native American peoples and things like that. But then you also have on the other side of the park one of the coolest shows they have, which is a Mystery Lodge, which is a complete romanticized version of what Native American culture is, which is the opposite of what should be being done, because in general, people don't think that Native Americans really exist anymore as a whole.
Yeah.
So, like their imagery and their knowledge of American Indians are really based on what pop culture says at this point, because it's not really taught in school. So when you're being handed like, hey, here's a Native American who's doing all this magic and crap, they think of it as like this really romanticized version, when in fact it should be looked in this factual manner, like it should be in schools, like they do in that dance, which I really like.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting question, and going back to thinking about how it got to Native American history. Starting with, we're talking about pirates, and we want to learn about pirates because we never want to be like that. We don't ever want to see that kind of display again. So we learn about what they did was wrong and make sure we don't do it. Then we learn about, the Confederacy and the Civil War, and we learn about how bad it was in the South and slavery and everything. And we have to learn that we never want to do that. We never want to do that again. We never want to have one man above another, that we're all equal. We need to learn what was bad about the Civil War, and that, sorry people, if I disagree with the Confederate Union all the way. Okay, there's nothing good about the Confederates. I'm just telling you that right now. You could disagree with me, that's fine. But that what we're learning, why we need to learn about this stuff, is that we never do anything like that again. Native American history is a little bit different, though, right? Because it's not about that what we never want to do again. Because what happened is that the white man came onto the country and stole the country from them, right?
Yeah.
So now we're learning about the heritage of the American Indian, the Native Americans, the people who they're called Native Americans for a reason, because they were here first. So we're learning about their history, and how do you portray that lesson without it being offensive in a way, because all you could do is kind of point the finger back at all of us, anybody who's not an American Indian, and say, our ancestors, the people that moved in before us and everything, did wrong by taking their country. So I think any way that you could display, if you can do a show, an act, or just have a chance to learn, have a learning session with somebody who can teach you about the American Indian culture and the Native American history, it has to be told, because, again, we're sitting on their soil. And so anytime that we can learn more about their history, it's better for all of us. It makes us understand a bit more, and I think it helps with humanity and humility overall in this country.
I completely agree, and I just feel like with regards to the situations like at Knott's Berry Farm, I feel like those are really the only times that we're actually going to be able to educate people about things like that.
Absolutely.
I don't think people really like to pay attention to that part in school, to be honest. Also, I don't think that they talk about it enough.
I agree.
And I don't think there's really any way to win that battle, because I know that, I'm part Native American. I'm half Okewenge from New Mexico, and
No way.
yeah.
So I have Blackfoot in me. I'm dead
You
serious.
do?
Yeah.
Crazy.
My dad is a sided family. My great grandfather's side, his great grandfather was Blackfoot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So there you go.
That's cool. Yeah, we were called the San Juan Pueblo tribe, but obviously that was a Spanish given name, so they went back to the original name, which is Okewenge. So, from a perspective in that manner, and having known a lot of people that I went to school with who are full-blooded Native American and, who have very, very strong opinions, there's really no way of winning in this situation, because because when it comes down to it, it's either, hey, we're trying to do a really good job and tell these facts, and they're like, well, there's a lot more than just Navajo and Blackfoot and all this stuff.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of tribes, so you're just bundling everybody in there at one time. It's like, okay, well, we're going to be really specific and talk about this one. And then they see the show, and it's like, well, now you're romanticizing it. There's never going to be a winning situation.
And that's
which, by the way, I love Mystery Lodge.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
I mean, that's why people are always mad with, like, teepees and stuff. Like, not all Indians use teepees, I mean, it's like all those, like, things that you associate with Native Americans that they use in, like, Knott's Berry Farm and stuff. It's generalizing, something that people associate with the whole, culture, but it's not.
And usually I give it a pass.
Yeah.
I usually give it a pass when it comes down to that kind of stuff, from my perspective as a Native person, because a lot of the time they try their hardest. It's not like they're just saying, hey, there's some Indians over there. They're usually very specific about who they are and what culture they're from. Like, if we ride the Mark Twain, like, those, I'm pretty sure they say those are Plains Indians, which is correct, because the Plains Indians rode horses and had teepees and settled in certain areas and moved, and they said those very specific facts about them when they were there, and especially when Native, and the whole portrayal of them at Knott's Berry Farm, they're very factual. And even for shoot, what's the show called again? I'm just blanked.
The Hoop Show?
No, the actual cool show.
Mystery Lodge.
Mystery Lodge.
The actual
Even
cool
Mystery
show.
Lodge. The actual cool show. Sorry, I said cool show earlier. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry, Hoop Dancer. Your show is so cool, too.
I like the Hoop Dancer.
No, the Hoop Dancer is awesome. They have some other people there, too, but that was the one that stuck out in my head. Sorry, Hoop Dancer. I lost train of thought. I'm done.
There's no
gone.
Pepper's Ghost with the hoop dancer. That's what.
No, there's no Pepper's Ghost. So, but I give it all a pass, and to kind of stick with Knott's Berry Farm, what I find very funny is what's kind of become a joke between a lot of people in the kind of that's in this theme park world. Me, you, Rick West, and a whole bunch of other people.
During Ghost Town Alive specifically.
During Ghost Town Alive, there is no Hop Wing Lee character. And Rick said, #dirty laundry.
For the audience, Hop Wing Lee is the
Asian
laundromat
guy.
Yeah, he's the animatronic in the window.
Yeah, he's just very, very stereotypical
and
Asian guy.
He did not come alive with the rest of Ghost Town.
He went on vacation.
And do you think it's because they were worried about being offensive?
100%, because you also see any Native American peoples walking around, because they're usually at the table playing poker in the Pekin as well.
We are not going to see any cowboys and Indians play out in Ghost Town Alive, that's for sure. Yeah.
So that's something that I definitely don't think we'll ever see.
Yeah. So I guess that's.
Although we do see Indian monsters at Haunt. I do see those.
Well, they're ghosts.
They're ghosts? Is that what they are?
Yeah.
They're ghouls and goblins?
They're in Ghost Town.
Ultra spooky.
They're ghosts. In Ghost town. It makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Nikki.
But yeah, so I mean, that's just an example. I mean, Hopwing Lee is an example of going the ultimate safe route.
A good example of restraint.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to avoid the complaints.
That's that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I remember actually being there on Media Day last year for Ghost Town Alive, and Rick walked right up to me right when we went out there. He said, "There's no Hopwing Lee."
He probably said it deadpan.
Yeah.
Looked at you seriously.
Yeah, he did.
There's no Hopwing
Actually,
Lee.
yeah, he started with dude, and then yeah. So yeah,
It always starts with the
he said,
dude.
"Start it now. Everybody start hashtagging dirty laundry. Let's go." Yeah, he was immediately. It was funny.
No, yeah, I always found that really, really funny. And to kind of even go forward, because we mentioned haunt and having that kind of stuff.
Let's go into all the haunt stuff.
Yeah, like last year in particular, we had this huge controversy over Fear VR 5150. That was at, correct me if I'm wrong, it was at Knott's Scary Farm, as well as California's Great America's Halloween Haunt.
Yes.
So it was in both those locations, a VR experience that really had nothing to do with the 5150, which, if you don't know what that is, this isn't the clinical definition. This is the Gabriel Montoya definition.
The psychiatric hold?
Yeah, psychiatric evaluation.
Yeah.
Like, they have to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
That you're not going to harm yourself or something. And somebody who didn't go on the attraction stood out the exit and waited to talk to people, complained. And he gained enough traction and got enough bigger name people on his side to the point where Cedar Fair pulled it. And they even started to change other attractions that they had that were anywhere close to theme to asylums or people who have mental issues. And I thought that was insane. Like, I was on the complete opposite end.
Insane.
Oh, someone sue me. I absolutely think that is ridiculous. You haven't gone in. 2, it has nothing to do with that. It's just a provocative title, which maybe they should have thought of a different title. And then 3, I don't like the way that Cedar Fair reacted. I think that all 3 of those were just nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't know where either of you stand on that, but I just think in general the almost attacking nature of the accusations of some of these people was out of the blue and unnecessary.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll give you my opinion on this whole entire thing. I felt that the whole setup and everything was brilliant. I thought it was awesome. It wasn't any different from any of these movies that we've seen already. It's out in every single movie out there. It is during haunt. It's during a time that is not very, like the most family-friendly time to begin with.
Thank you.
And then also the fact that the complaint came from somebody who didn't even experience. In fact, and I'm not going to bomb on the Christian church here, okay? Because, all the churches are very different. Christianity can be looked at very many different ways. I mean, I myself consider myself a follower of Christ. But I have issues with churches taking any kind of political state, because that is insane. When somebody from a church or whatever could say, this is not Christian, this is not right, you're making fun of insane people. When you don't, it's a bad thing when you have something like that, and then you get the backing from all these other churches all of a sudden that say, because that's what happened. It started getting on Twitter all of a sudden of this one writer. And
it gained a lot of momentum.
Yeah, with other church leaders and stuff, and they started, downing Knott and Great America before they even knew what the hell was going on. But they believed so much in this one writer, this one journalist, that it just went haywire really quick. I do think that Cedar Fair pulled out way too quickly. I think that they didn't realize the repercussions that would happen from a move like that, because even since then, now everything that Six Flags has about being in insane asylums, they ended up taking their mazes out as well. So it really did go well beyond Cedar Fair, and it really that you can have a fictional story about insane asylums. It's okay. You're not making fun of people who have mental instabilities. You're not. It's a fictitious story. And so it's during Haunt, where you should be like 16, 17, 18, whatever years old anyway. You're a much more mature audience than I don't know. I'm starting to ramble on right now because now I'm getting all frustrated about it.
No, but
you're saying what we're all thinking.
You're saying what we're thinking, man. And to compile it even on top of that, the attraction wasn't even about a 5150 or somebody with mental issues. It was about a girl with supernatural powers. It had nothing to do with what people were complaining about.
There you go. And nobody knows that because
they didn't go in it.
It was only open for like one weekend. We were lucky enough that we were there the opening weekend and we saw it. And
we went straight there.
Yeah, and it absolutely had nothing to do. There was no insane person even in the VR experience. It was the girl with, I forget that part, if she had powers or not. But
she had like these mental powers to mess with people.
All the doctors and nurses around her started turning into monsters or zombie type creatures. That was it. It had nothing. It was set in like a hospital ward. That was it.
But yet we could still sit here and listen to everybody say, The Sixth Sense is a great movie. Or something that deals with people who have special abilities or whatever, but have no clue when it comes to like something like this, like a haunt, like an experience that it is a story of special people being told in a different way, and it's just so unfortunate. I think it was really bad on all accounts everywhere, and I think that this is one of those situations that many sides can be blamed. I'm sorry. Had to throw that in there.
A little punch in there, just a little bit.
That's the only time I can ever think of that actual quote being correct. But
and I completely agree. And to bring it back with kind of what I said at the beginning was that I feel like everything and anything can be parodied and to be made fun of, and Haunt is no exception. If anything, it should all happen at Haunt.
That's where it should be the most offensive.
Yes,
just look at the hanging.
The most offensive that you could possibly be should be there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
During Halloween, the time where people get to wear slutty costumes and I get to look googly-eyed and Nikki gets to agree with me.
Yes.
That's all year.
But you agree.
We live in LA.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, just like anything during Halloween, I feel like anything is open to being made fun of and to be poked fun of for what it deserves to be made fun of. That's why we have the hanging. That's why we had a Bill and Ted's.
R.I.P. Bill and Ted.
R.I.P. Bill and Ted's from Hollywood.
So Bill and Ted has been gone from Hollywood for quite a while. Now they're
for about 4 years.
Yeah, and so now they're finally removing it from Orlando. Are they actually doing it this year though?
This is their last year.
Yeah, it's their farewell tour, Wild Stallion.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is the last year, but not because it's getting rid of for any PC reason. It just, I feel like they're going to go in a different direction. If anything, I think they're going to keep Academy of Villains for a lot longer because that seems to do really well with it for them.
Do you think they held on to it that long? Because I kept on thinking and possibly just, like all of us wishing for that next Bill and Ted movie to come out. Just hoping and hoping and hoping, and it just finally we realize that's not going to happen. So now they're like, okay.
I feel like it's part of it.
Maybe.
100% I feel like it's part of it, but at the same time, it was such a crowd favorite.
Yeah.
People would
just
go
like
back and over and over again. Even if you have those people who are like, last year was sucky, but then the year next, they're like, it wasn't as good as last year. You always have those people, but I think that those shows are almost like a release, and I think that during Haunt, it's a release for a lot of these people to make fun of the real world for what it deserves. And, whether that's Trump, Hillary, Deadpool, or, anything that was in there, I think it's all deserves it. And I think it's fun. And I think that's why Halloween is fun.
Yes. Yeah.
So, it makes me sad.
I will say, though, that last year's hanging wasn't very good.
There was like a few moments where I'm like, oh my god, that was so funny. But then there was moments where it kind of dragged a bit. I feel like the humor was just a little different. Like the Hillary part just dragged on and on and on and on. I just couldn't stand it.
Do you think it was the location too? Was that the first one in the new spot?
Yes.
Could be because
but I did like the musical number. That musical number in the beginning, I could not stop singing it, and I still sing it to this day whenever I hear that song.
No, yeah.
Can't stop the hanging.
We did like that part.
Yeah, I like that part. And to kind of bring it to a point where we talk about something that, kind of crosses the line, I think, to a certain extent. Something that I don't think should probably be around, and it's not around anymore, is Chucky's Insult Emporium. Have you heard of this, Doug?
No. What is that?
Chucky's Insult Emporium was at Halloween Horror Nights. I believe it was in Hollywood only. I could be wrong. Nobody quote me on that. But I do know that it existed, and it was essentially just a guy who had a Chucky puppet that was up in a window.
Oh, okay. On the main street. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he would have people gather around him, and he would say probably the worst things I've ever heard somebody else say to another human being.
Well, as
a joke.
How is that any different than the heckler they got rid of? And
well, the
you
heckler,
were so mad about that.
Well, the heckler, for me, he was like, ha, your shirt's so low, your boobs are hanging out, that's great, ha.
But Chucky, dug deep to stab you.
Let me put it this way. If there's children listening, cover their ears for a moment. He looked at a woman who was with her boyfriend and said, I could use your spit as a sperm sample.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's crude. That's very crude.
That's what he said. I laughed.
And then she got
really
up off her knees and then looked at him. Well, no, don't put that in.
No, and then he's like, your boyfriend's nodding, like, yeah, he agrees.
Oh,
but
God, that was
like,
horrible.
to me, I laughed really hard, but I'm like, ooh, maybe you're asking for a lawsuit.
Yeah.
But, you know what? Then you don't go stand by Chucky. If I avoided the heckler every year, I was fine.
I mean, the heckler told me that I looked like I ate too much Halloween candy because I was chunky.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't disagree.
So one person, I forget, was she underage? Was she like?
I think she was like 16, and she's like, oh my God.
She complained.
That's my 16-year-old Doug. I'm shaking my hands on my face.
I thought it was a 16-year-old girl for a second. That's amazing.
Yeah, just like hot second she was in here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it just takes one little thing like that for something like that to get pulled. Like one complaint.
Yeah, and that's usually all it takes.
It seems like that's what
brutal,
it takes now. That's hardcore. That's
yeah. Look it up on YouTube. It's pretty funny, but I don't know if that necessarily, I don't know. For me, at least, I think that starts to kind of cross the line.
That's crossing
when you start
the line.
to get really personal with people. Yeah. When you have a Chucky puppet looking at you in the eye and say like, "I hope your mom dies." Like that's he's saying things alluding to that kind of stuff.
Oh God, that would be horrible. So,
like if it's not me, I'm laughing. If it's me, I'm like, ooh, I'm walking away.
Somebody email Theme Park Duo if you ever caught Chucky saying that to somebody. I'm just email them.
Yeah, no, email us if you've ever been at the bad end of Chucky at the Chucky's Insult Emporium. I want to know what he said to you. But I think that kind of brings us full circle of like where we think the PC culture is going a little too far to where. I don't know about you two, but I think is going a little too far, and we should probably cut it off at that line there where Chucky's Insult Emporium, but leave the wench alone, leave the redhead alone.
I have a question for you. Uh-huh. Do you think that the Hall of Presidents is going to be opening up in the next 4 years at all?
Oh.
No. I
Even
think
if it does, I think I'll pass.
I think they're going to be doing so much work on the theater that it's just going to take a really long time to really update all the lighting and the fixtures and the curtains and the seating.
Yeah, they're really having issues with that lighting.
Yeah, I think what they're really working on, they want to add movement to every single president there. So it takes a long time to do that. As well as they need to add cup holders to every single seat. And they have to, repaint the entire stage, and
you have to watch the paint dry first.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make sure that you get the, the new animatronic parrot that they're putting in there, that this be perfectly placed. And then also when they sing Hakuna Matata, that it's all in sync, and it's going to take a long time. So I don't see that. I don't see it opening anytime soon. They want to make sure it's perfect. They have to do all their research before they just open it up. That's what I'm saying.
Before they really open up that show, you want to make sure that you have all the information to really get a good understanding of, what's happening in that show. Just saying that a little specifically. I think Nikki's kind of glazed over at this moment. She's kind of like this look of spacing out. I don't know what's happening.
Even if it opens, it can't open.
It
I'm just over it.
Seriously,
Yeah.
no, they can't open it. I don't see any reason why they could ever open that attraction. If they do, they're just asking for trouble.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't remember who said it, or I don't remember where we saw it, but I remember someone saying, like, when they do open it, and it's Disney's version of the script, it's not going to sound like Donald Trump. It's not going to sound like him, and it's not going to be the person that everybody remembers being as Donald Trump. And if it was that, Disney would never allow it for him to say whatever he wanted to say.
And that's why it's closed.
Yeah, I think what they should do is just have Lincoln stand up and do a big old speech, and then he points over at Donald Trump and says, "Here's our new president." And Trump just stands up and goes, "Hey, I'm your president. Hey, guys," and he sits back down.
Yeah.
Or he stands up and just goes and farts and then sits back down.
Goodness gracious.
Just saying.
It always. Has
I think
to
that would
end
be
with
just
a fart joke.
Yeah, I just think that like it would be as equal to whatever he has to say anyhow. You know,
Oh,
it's the same
goodness.
outcome.
We got real for a second. Our true opinion. We were trying to glaze over it a bit, Gabe.
You can't glaze over it. That's it.
There's no way that you
I'm serious.
can.
If they want to open up, they just have it where they point and they're like, "There's our president," and he waves. He's like, "Hey, guys."
That's how it should
Hey,
be.
your president, Donald Trump.
Yeah. Hey. And then he's all,
That's-
"Back to you, Lincoln."
That's how it should be. And I
Thanks,
think
Trump, for the weather report.
that's why it's still closed, because they're not going to do that, and they're trying so hard to make it work.
They're trying very hard to make it work, and I commend Disney for that, but at a certain point, it's like, just take a step back and realize what you're dealing with there. It's kind of like, is not all there. You're not going to win that argument, I don't think. So, I don't know. That's a topic that could be in a whole nother
Sorry,
episode,
I didn't mean to
think.
bring that up, but
No, I don't care. I think it's great, and I definitely think it fits within the confines of our conversation.
Yeah.
It's just a rabbit hole of a conversation. We were going to go to Orlando, which, by the way, everybody knew that a trip to Orlando, we're not going anymore.
Sad.
But when we were talking about it, I was like, we're going to Mickey's Not So Scary. I want to go in the Hall of Presidents. And Nikki's like, no. I'm like, why? Don't you want to go? And she goes, no, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm like, aren't you like morbidly curious about what it's going to be like? But now that I'm thinking about it, and now that you brought it up, I don't think it's going to be open during that time
Yeah.
It
anyhow.
won't be open.
It won't be open. There's no
And if it
way
was, I
it's
wouldn't
not
go.
going to be open.
No. But anyway, that wraps up this show. It was an incredible conversation here, and hopefully nobody was offended who was listening. And if you
Oh,
were,
I'm a little worried.
sorry, but at the same time, deal with it. It's our opinions.
We're nice people.
No, I don't think anybody's offended. They just keep on thinking that Doug dude just keeps on taking it way out of bounds, going all over the place.
Is he talking about Trump? I can't tell. I'm really confused.
He keeps on changing minds. He's going all over the place. He's just, yeah.
Was that your old angry lady?
That's me when I'm talking, like if I'm listening to a podcast and I don't understand what's going on. That's what I'm like, that's what
I don't understand these new fangled Twitter faces and Twitter books and stuff.
That's me.
But you
Don't
always-
mock me.
Yeah, no, but you have to end
What,
it.
you're an old man?
No, I can't. I don't understand Twitter.
Oh.
You always have to end it when because that's the way that you end off every sentence when you're angry. That's for me anyway.
Shouldn't change these rights, man. Well, Doug, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It was wonderful having you here and having such a wonderful insight on a lot of these topics.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I don't know if it was wonderful, but thank you so much for having me on the show. And
It was entertaining.
Well, I was the host. I have to say something nice.
okay.
I can't really tell you
Well,
what I really
appreciate-
think.
Thank you, Gabriel. I'll be sending you that check later. Thank you. Sir.
But I don't think anybody needs to know where to find you, but please let everybody know where they can find you and your show and anything that's connected to that.
All right, awesome. Well, first off, if you guys want to listen to my show, I promise you, my opinions aren't really in them at all. So you can actually
And not
listen-
every sentence ends with meh.
Yeah. No, that doesn't happen. That's like I edit those out. But no, you can go to seasonpasspodcast.com. That's where you can find everything that's going on. We're on iTunes, and then on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. We're at the Season Pass, just one word, the Season Pass. And it's all about the industry. It's about the people of the industry, and we get people to come on to tell their stories. So it's not my opinions. It's everybody else who works in that industry, and that's what makes the show good. So Thank you guys so much for allowing me to come on and have fun with you and share some opinions. Like I said, I don't get to do that on my podcast, so it's fun to do that with you guys.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm glad that you had a good time, and guys, like at the beginning, I said that I found that Not Scary Farm episode. If you guys like anything haunt related when it comes to Scary Farm or anything like that, go back to those episodes of the season pass and listen to them. They are extremely interesting because they have a lot of the creators on there who are behind your worst fears and nightmares, and some of them are very, very, very cool people. Why did I say some of them like others aren't? They're all really cool people who do these really awesome who do these really, really awesome events, and you get a really cool insight on how these things are built and the reasons why and how they're thinking, and it's such an awesome show to listen to. So make sure once again you listen to the Season Pass podcast.
Thank you. That's awesome.
No problem. That was a really good conversation we had with Doug. I thought it was great. I thought we were able to hit a lot of the different stops along the way when it comes to theme parks as a whole, and really kind of get a lot of differing opinions on the situation of political correctness.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing that a lot of people nowadays have an issue with, or, it's just become a lot more of a hot topic recently. So I thought it was good to...
I could buy goth clothes there? And I could buy like all the pop culture-y things?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
So I thought it was good to just get a few opinions on it and kind of make people think about it. Like, is this a big deal? Or, are parks overreacting or trying to, kind of appease people before they even know they have an issue? Like with the redhead, it's like no one complained, as far as we know, before they changed it, so it's like, are they just trying to get ahead of it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there. Like I said at the beginning of the show, share with us your thoughts. Let us know if you agree, or more importantly, if you disagree with us with regards to our opinions on the matter of political correctness in theme parks and kind of how it should go and its way it's been happening. So make sure you do that on all of our social media. So our social media is Theme Park Duo on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Periscope. So you can follow us on Periscope. I know we just did one at DCA where a lot of people had fun. We were listening to people's
they told us what rides to go on.
We went on Heimlich's Choo Choo Train. Heimlich's Choo Choo Train.
And Flix Flyers. And Monsters, Inc.
And Monsters,
all
Inc.
because people
had fun.
asked us to.
Yes. So that was fun. But let us know on social media your opinions. You could also email us at
themeparkduo@gmail.com. I had to think about that for a second.
It's our email.
I know. I don't email it. It's my email.
That's true. You don't email it all the time, but you should know your email.
Yeah, true. So, themeparkduo@gmail.com.
Are you sure that's what it is?
Yes.
I'm just making sure. Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you like double sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. I'm negative.
Yes.
That's why we work.
Yes. Opposites attract.
Opposites attract. But more importantly, Nikki, where can people follow you? Actually, you know what? Before that, they should definitely leave us a 5-star written review.
Yes, please leave us a 5-star written review on iTunes and leave a nice comment about how much you love us.
And we'll give you a shout out on the show.
Yes.
Today is a rough day for me when speaking.
You're all tongue-tied.
I'm all tongue-tied today. So leave us a 5-star written review. It really helps us out. It makes it easier for people to find us on iTunes and other sites so that they can enjoy us just like you are right now. Nikki, now tell everybody where they could find you.
You can find me on Twitter at NikkiM_313.
And you're doing so much better. I'm so proud of you.
I know. I'm learning every day.
It's an ongoing story. It's an ongoing story of Nikki's
Except no one's been talking to me, so I can't practice. People talk
I'll tweet you from our account.
Okay.
So it makes it look like you're really important.
Okay.
You got really genuinely excited.
I did.
You can follow me at Lakers793 on Twitter, but most importantly, above all, people, remember, there's always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. See ya.
Thanks for riding with the Theme Park Duo. Make sure to gather all your belongings before the end of the podcast. Bye-bye.